So heavy. Oh. So nothing like going through someone else's trash. We are going through the side area of a fire pit, and so we're getting things out of the fire pit, basically debitage, but when it's larger debitage like that, it looks like it may have an engraver on the top, maybe, and this may be an engraver down here. I don't know until I wash it. So we have two bags. We have one wannabe, could be, might be's over there, and then over here, this is just straight debitage that's going in over here. And the rest of it is just a lot of sifting. And I think this alone could be an entire college course. Sifting 101. And anybody who's spent time sifting with me knows that anything goes. You can find anything on any given day. But recognition is really interesting because it may look like one thing, but when it's been fired, it absolutely looks like something completely different. So you're learning two different worlds, the fired and the look at this. Okay, now this is an FCR, but if you notice, it looks kind of metallic. It's got some metal weight to it. I know there's hematite in these fire pits, and I think this one needs to be washed and cleaned, so we'll save him. We'll put him over here. And then a lot of these guys, these are just retouched chips that are coming out like crazy. You know, they sit around the fire pits and they resharpen and they do what they do. Here's another one. So somebody was teasing me. They said, how come you have long thumbnails and all your other nails are gone? I said, well, the other nails are just the stress in life. But the thumbnails are tools, and I use these. And a lot of times you'll find things and you're not sure. So you need to use that thumbnail to really get in there and grind and see if it's part of a clay vessel or just a sandstone rock. So they are truly bona fide tools that I use a lot. Oh, I see a piece of flint coming up. There is. There he is. Because of the size, we have the cone of percussion right there. This could be a long parallel-sided blade. I don't know, but I'll wash him. I see another little flake down in here. Again, if you think about, here's another one. Sitting around those fires, resharpening, a lot of stuff. A lot of it was social too. We still do it. We people get a fire pit, sit around and drink their beer, right? And some of you do the same thing. Again, you get big flakes and little flakes, and you just got to watch things. You got to be curious. You got to be nice to yourself. And don't ever lose the fun. Sometimes it's just plain hard work, but you know what? It's all good, and it's taking you somewhere. It's getting you out of the house. It's keeping you healthy. So grateful for our health that we can get out. I know that some of you folks who are watching just aren't able to get out anymore, and I hope this is a lot of fun for you to be right here and watch and see what we're doing. I wish that you could be here. The dig site is probably 20 yards from the road, so I've had people, actually I had a couple years ago, a lady come in a wheelchair. We got her out on the site and pushed her chair right up underneath it, and she started sifting. She said, all is well except one thing. All the dirt's going through the sifter on her lap, and she looked like a giant mountain. I said, well, you're getting a first-hand look. And yes, I am a 60s guy, and I would not change that part of my life for anything. I've had the blessings of getting to know Joel Walsh and the James Gang, and there were some tremendous rockers that came to Kent State when I was there. And, and there was a lot of do-rags that people wore. I wore mine when I played rugby, but it was to keep the hair out of my face. But also they catch the sweat, and I wear them down here because we are just sweating like crazy, and this keeps it out of my eyes. Otherwise, a ball cap just won't do the job. So I'm not trying to look cool. I'm just trying to be cool, keep cool. Oh, man. Hang out with us. Oh, we let this get way too full. Oh, this is why you have college students on dig sites. They do the, oh, geez. Tie a rope around my waist. If I go over the edge, pull me back. Oh, the things we do for love. Oh. I haven't had this much fun since I built my first sandcastle. First grade, Worcester, Ohio. Okay, well, if you notice, this dirt is more brown than it is yellow. And where we're digging right now is we are getting really close to actually in the fire pit. It's turning to this brown, even chocolate colored in the middle of the fire pit with charcoal. So I suspect there ought to be some, oh, this is cool. Let me talk to you about this. This is a piece of quartzite, just a fire-cracked rock shattered in the fire. But can you see those two silvery areas? Now, you're going to find rocks in your field when you're walking. And that's a sign of farm machinery, either plow or disc that's banged your rock like that. Now, this has some interesting edges. So I'm just going to take a quick look. Definitely an FCR, fire-cracked rock, or a wannabe. I see a few chips in here already. There's one in here somewhere. There he is. Right here. And we shouldn't be surprised at all to find these around a considerable sized fire pit. A lot of socializing going on around those things. And no doubt a lot of end of the day work as well. A piece of debitage. Oh. So let's see what we get here. Last, I call it a swirly. Before you dump, you do a swirly. You bring everything in the middle because it's much easier for your eyes to see a small area than an area that's spread out. So I want all my focal energy right here. That's why I bring it in, and then I just do a contained swirly. There's things like this that catch my eye. I can see charcoal stains, and I'm saying, okay, that could be pottery. I like the geometrics. I'm going to look at them. And it's a Rocco that's been laying in the charcoal. A lot of that coming out of here. One thing we haven't found yet is bone in this pit. We found a lot of debitage, broken points, sides, bases, corners, tips. Here's a big piece of flint. But, and pottery, of course, but no charcoal. Oh, I call this a piece of skin. This is the one side of a sherd of pottery. Other side is gone. And if you're able to see it, there's little pieces of grain and sand embedded in it. Part of the tempering process for the pot. With the amount of Flint Ridge flint that's coming out of this fire pit already, I'm already guessing that we're going to be dealing with the Dena or Hopewell, or what I call the Adwell culture, which is a blend of the two. Isn't this fun? And so we're going to do one last look, see what we missed. There's certain flints that you want to recognize, or certain church you want to recognize when you're walking your fields or in a fire pit. They're just because of the nature or the color of the flint, you know it's of high quality. So things like this will get a second or a third look to see if they're micro tools. And I encourage you, when you're in your fields, if you hit an area that has a lot of flint, learn what your highest quality flint is and always dig those out. Always dig those out. And this is a Rocco. It's a wannabe, but it's not a piece of pottery, unfortunately. So here we are. I'm getting pointed to more chips of flint here. Here is a piece of iron. It's very heavy. It looks like pottery. Again, with my fingernail, I can use it to snap it. If you can see the color, this color, just a lot of iron in this, and it is not pottery. Okay, but it's a fuller, and we want to look for those. Occasionally, we find these. If you can see this, I'm going to try to get him in the sun if I can. This is either a piece of quartz that's been tempered and colored by the fire, or it could be clay, a drop of clay that has been heated. So I'm going to take my fingernail. I cannot snap it, so it's quartz, which should be a yellow or white color. But in the fire pit like that, you get oxidation takes place. Here's a nice piece of flint right here. Flint, rock. What am I looking at? Oh, I love my videographers.
And right there.
Okay, so her concern is that could these be micros? And she's got a good eye, and I trust her eye, so I'm going to put him over here for a little more looking at later. This is just a piece of wood, but your bone oftentimes will be very close to that whiteness, and there are immediate heads up. When you see that, you just know that you got bone. In this case, it's wood. Just a lot of stuff in the fire pit. Oh, here's piece pottery. And I don't really, they have names for these micro sherds, but here's one side right here. I'm going to flip him. Here's the other side. You can even see a sparkly quartz inclusion right down there, right there. The two sides are the skin, and then you have the meat of the pottery in between. Teeny, teeny, tiny sherd. Rest assured, it's pottery. Oh my gosh. We're just looking at the extent of the fire pit. We have an edge here, but it's moving this direction. The heart of the pit right here, it's pretty wide, and then it thins out and we hit the yellow sand. So the pit, core of the pit is right here, but you know, fires, when you keep throwing sticks on them, they move around a little bit like that, but the heart of the pit is right here. We're going to take a few more scoops and see what we got before we quit today. Oh, you can see the charcoal, yeah. Right there. Some of the charcoal. See a little piece of flint. I don't know if I can get it. Down here. Nope. It was just charcoal. Oh, here's a piece of flint in the flint pit. Cone of percussion right there. Parallel sides, probably a uniface blade. We'd have to wash them, see if a channel flake coming off the cone, but more than likely we have a little blade right here. Hit his head. Now scare him out.
There it goes.
Very good. There you go.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, you good?
No, 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 no. I want to hold him.